Hey, it's Mark Barrett. Thanks for stopping by to check out my video here. Say, today I wanted to give you a little insight on a company that I did an in-depth review on in the MLM industry the other day, a company called Wealth Masters International. And Wealth Masters is actually a top-tier MLM company that's created some pretty big waves in the industry. They paid out hundreds of millions of dollars in commissions, according to the company, and they've been on the leading edge of what I would have to characterize as being probably one of the most successful companies in the top tier MLM industry. However, they've also been at the center of some big controversy. They've made some major changes in their business model over the last 2 years, and so I wanted to take this opportunity to kind of delve into it a little bit more, redo my review on the company and see where they are today and kind of what their prospects are for moving into the future. Now, Wealth Masters. I guess I first ran across Wealth Masters in kind of late 2009. And this was right after I began to, plug myself into the world of internet marketing, and I was beginning to study and implement kind of various online marketing strategies. Now, of course, for anybody who's made that move into the world of online marketing, yeah, you'll realize pretty quickly that it can initially be a little bit of a confusing business model. There's a lot to learn. It's powerful, but it's a little confusing. Maybe confusing is not actually the right word. Actually, it's kind of like being transported into some kind of alternate reality, the kind that we see on science fiction movies, right? Those are the ones in which you go to sleep and then you wake up only to realize that something's different. But soon you realize as you do more investigation, right, and go further down the rabbit hole that you're actually in an entirely different world that's always existed, but somehow you never saw. And that's kind of what happened to me. I had joined this online marketing educational system to learn online marketing called My Lead System Pro in mid-2009. Began studying some of those marketing strategies, trying to perfect my craft and generate 10, 15, 20 leads a day. And I was trying to get my arms around the different business model that you use when you do online marketing, which is called attraction marketing. Funded proposals, and then there was affiliate income streams. And I guess in an effort to understand and compare the different marketing models and sales approaches, I began going all over the internet and clicking on ads just to see what other successful people who were generating leads online were already doing, just by studying the capture pages. And that's when I started running into this company called Carbon Copy Pro. Now, at first look, Carbon Copy Pro seemed just like a slightly different version of My Lead System Pro. But as I looked at it more, I saw there was something really different about it. There seemed to be this great veil of secrecy about what they were actually selling. But apparently, there were a lot of people selling whatever they had, and they were making a lot of money doing it. So I thought, a money flood. This has my interest going. Tell me more. So I checked it out further and found that even though Carbon Copy Pro was in fact an online marketing system that was in fact very similar to the one I was using, My Lead System Pro, there were some critical differences. Now, Lead System Pro was completely generic. And with My Lead System Pro, you can use it to promote any network marketing company, right? So it really didn't matter. And Carbon Copy Pro, even though they claimed to be a generic system, in reality, almost everybody using Carbon was in fact marketing just one company called Wealth Masters. Now, there were quite a few doing this that were making over $1 million a year marketing the company, and some having reached those income levels in less than 2 years. Now, that's pretty darn incredible. In fact, from the video testimonials that I checked out, there were also apparently a few who had generated $10,000 to $20,000 a month in their first month in the business. Yeah, good grief, huh? Now, at that point, they really had my attention. But at the same time, I kind of had a hard time believing it, right? I mean, I've been in the MLM industry for over 25 years, and I've been a seven-figure earner, and I know what the standard MLM business model can do and what it can't do. And generating a 5-figure income in your first 30 days is usually something that only the very rare individual can do. I know, I've tried it. So, I mean, even if you're a killer recruiter, it takes time in a standard MLM, like the ones that I've been involved in the past, or any of the companies that I've been around over the last 25 years, to get that critical duplication going that's going to give you access to the several thousand people you need in your downline to give you those $10,000 a month checks that we're looking for, right? So how the heck were these people doing it? They really had me curious. Now, as I dug down a little bit further, it got even stranger. I mean, kind of like this. You know how you can buy a car? Let's say you're going out and you're checking out a really nice black Audi 8, right? Because you've been doing really well in business. And you go buy one of them and you're feeling really special because you know that they're rare and they're not anywhere around, and so you're going to be really unique, right? And then all of a sudden, as you start driving home in your new Audi, right? You start looking around and there's Audi A8s everywhere, right? Now the thing is, they've always been there. You just weren't tuned into them, so you never noticed them. You couldn't see them. Now that's kind of what started happening with Wealth Masters, because now that the rabbit was out of the hat, right, I started seeing them everywhere. Well, let's put it frankly. I mean, the two of the owners of My Lead System Pro had both made fortunes with Wealth Masters. Mike Dillard of Magnetic Sponsoring fame, ditto, right? In fact, it seemed that most of the big names in the world of online marketing were also marketing Wealth Masters. I started to get a little ticked off because it was like somebody gave a money party and forgot to invite me. The feeling, right? Wealth Masters turned out to be a top tier MLM, been around since about 2005, and I know a lot about the network marketing industry and the companies that kind of move in and out of it, sometimes on a daily basis, unfortunately. So how is it a major deal like Wealth Masters I had never heard of, in the last 20, 25 years? And I guess the difference is that top tier MLMs like Wealth Masters or companies like Family IQ, which is a newer version of Wealth Masters, they're not exactly a new business model in the network marketing universe. They've been around for quite a while, but it's a different enough business model that the people that usually do top tier MLMs don't move in the same social circle as people that do standard MLMs. Now that may sound a little strange, but people that are successful in top tier MLM deals tend to stay in that industry. And since there are just not as many top tier MLM companies around, they don't tend to run into them. And if you do, if people from the standard MLM industry run into top tier and they like what they see, they tend to go over to that business model and they don't tend to go back, right? So let me give you some hard facts on Wealth Masters International, right? So the brainchild, the company was started by basically two partners, Carl Bessie and Kip Heritage, who formed the company in 2005. And their products all revolve around financial education products, right? There are three core products in Wealth Masters, and they are the M1 program, which sells for a little under $2,000, the M2 program, which sells for $9,000, and the M3, which sells for a little under $14,000. Now, the M1 is pretty much the financial education the average person never received in their life, right? Banking, assets, tax strategies, all of the financial education that when we look back after a lifetime of trial and error learning, we say, gosh, I wish somebody could have put all that in a book and just gave it to me in college, right? This is exactly what you have here. And so this is actually a physical program they mail out to you. And it actually is CDs and DVDs and an online interface, right? So the M2 product, it's kind of the next step in the educational process, right? That's actually a 4-day seminar that they do twice a year. It's called the M2 Wealth Conference, and it goes in depth on some of the same subjects that they cover in the M1, and it gives precious metals, access to real estate and investment foreclosure strategies, asset protection, a whole bunch of different things. The M3, the big money product, is called the Private Wealth Group. And it's actually a 5-day seminar conducted at an international location. It covers subjects like private banking, insurance strategies, oil and gas exploration opportunities, IPOs, and a whole bunch of different stuff. And the comp plan, very interesting comp plan. Top tier MLMs, of course, pay usually a very substantial front-end commission that's paid directly to the distributor, or in this case, they call them the selling consultant. So when a brand new rep enrolls and buys one of the Wealth Masters, let's call them WMI for short, training products, they make a big commission. And there's also a 5-tier MLM back-end residual compensation program that kicks in as soon as you start to grow your group. So they also have like a global profit sharing plan also for top distributors. Now, since you have to buy these products in order when you come into the business, they do offer discounts if you buy them at the same time rather than one at a time. So if a new rep joins at, let's say, the M1 level, it's $2,000. If they do the Platinum, which is M1 and M2, then it's a little under $10,000, so you save about $1,000. If they join at Platinum Plus, which is all three, M1, M2, and M3, you get it for $20,000, which is like a $5,000 or $6,000 savings. So of course, We're talking big money. It's like a hybrid between a standard MLM and a franchise almost, right? So this is why they call these companies top tier. The entry level is much higher than standard MLM. But I guess that's part of the magic. Since when you enroll somebody at one of those levels and you make almost a 50% commission, uh, boom. I mean, the M1 pays a commission of 1,000, Platinum pays like 4,500, and when somebody comes in at Platinum Plus, $9,000 for enrolling a distributor. So now you can see how reps that enter the top tier industry, especially with companies like WealthMaster, have the ability to generate 10,000 in the first month or two, and how people can get up to $1 million in a fairly short period of time if they learn a lot about sales funnels and marketing. So, even though a new rep or consultant with WealthMasters has the ability to come in at any level they want, and this is part of the compensation plan, then they can sell any level. So in other words, if you come in at, let's say, the M1 level, and then you want to bring somebody else in at like Platinum Plus, you can do that, but you only receive commissions based on the level that you're at. And so this is why people tend to join at the higher level. So in other words, if I joined as an M1 and I brought in an M1, I'd make $1,000, of course. If I joined as an M1 and I bring a prospect in and they go, Mark, I'm really excited about this, but I think I want to join at the Platinum Plus level. Well, that generates a $9,000 commission, of which I receive $1,000. The other $8,000 floats upline to my very grateful upline, right? Kind of brings a whole new dimension to the concept of roll-up, right? So since that painful roll-up can occur, generally speaking, most reps that enter the business with a top-tier company like WealthMasters generally join at the highest level they can afford. Okay. Now, there are other elements to the WealthMaster comp plan, such as they have that 5-tier payout on the back end, to where even if somebody 5 levels down from you joined at the top level, you would still get as much as a $750 commission that rolled up through 5 levels to you. So now, of course, with the top-tier business model, because the numbers you're dealing with are larger, consultants who build up a pretty good-sized group, the profit potential can be pretty impressive on the back end also. Now, I have to say the average network marketing rep tends to look at big-ticket programs, like WealthMasters. And I think one of the things that confuses them is they start wondering how, if I have trouble enrolling somebody into my MLM at $300, how in the world can somebody in a top-tier MLM enroll somebody at $10,000 or $20,000? It's sometimes beyond their comprehension, right? And I think probably the answer to that question is you have to take a look at how people look at investing or getting involved in a network marketing business opportunity, right? So if you approach a prospect and you're trying to recruit them into your standard MLM company, right? And it costs $300 to get involved. When people look at that, let's face it, today people understand what network marketing is. It's not like 25 years ago when I had to convince people that, yes, it really is legal, right? Today people know there's money in network marketing. They understand network marketing is legitimate. They understand there's big dollars in it. But they also understand that it can be very difficult to get to that money, that it can only a fractional percentage ever get to the big money, and that it's not coming necessarily really quickly. So when somebody shells out that $300 to join, they're looking at it as an expense rather than an investment. They're putting out the money. They hope that something big happens, but they don't have any certainty that something big is going to happen. However, when somebody takes a look, I think, at a top tier, they look at it differently. It seems to me they do. They look at it, and if they can see a achievable business model to where they could come in, sponsor 2 or 3 people into the business in 90 days, and have their entire investment of, let's say, 10 grand back, I think they look at that as an investment rather than an expense. And actually, that's a pretty good investment, right? So it has to do with the way that you look at the business model. So actually, in the real world, to start any type of a business, you have to understand it takes money, and generally a lot of money. If you take a look at what it takes to start even the most basic national franchise, right? And there are people out there starting franchises all the time. I think it's a Subway franchise. You have to pay $35,000 for the license fee, and then you have to set aside another $100,000 for build out and reserve. So crazy. and that's so that you can spend the rest of your life working with teenagers. Pretty exciting prospect, right? So I think targeting that type of market, when people get into the bigger ticket, the top tier MLM business models, there's such a huge audience who's already looking at franchising that I think that well, I tell you what, there's a lot of people looking for opportunity. So, and I think what people are after when they look at franchising is they love the idea of that step-by-step business model. Show me how to do A, B, C, D. And of course, most of the top tiers really have that same type of a step-by-step business model, to where somebody can come in and get involved, follow the steps, and they can see a clear path to the money because, hey, if I go out and sponsor one person at Platinum Plus, then boom, I got my $9,000. So in today's market, there are so many people looking for opportunity. I call it a target-rich environment, right? So there's no lack of prospects for an MLM world, whether it's standard or top tier. I mean, think of how many people have been dumped on their ears by the economy. Business owners looking for a new plan A, corporate execs who have been dropped out of that economic food chain, real estate agents, mortgage brokers. I mean, kind of the list goes on, right? And a lot of times I think prospects that are in that particular prospect pool, when they look at the world of network marketing, they're intrigued by it, right? Because it represents an opportunity that doesn't take a lot of money. But I think a lot of times people that take a look at network marketing coming out of the business world have a little bit of a hard time getting their arms around a business model where it seems like there's no clear plan to get them to their financial needs, right? I mean, many of those people need a solution that's going to get them $10,000 or more by next month to pay the mortgage, not one that's going to get them there in 18 months to 2 years. So now, even though there are many, many, many Wealth Masters consultants, from what I could determine, that use old school MLM building strategies, right? Which is making the list, doing the standard face-to-face, belly-to-belly, chasing people down in grocery stores, right? A lot of people use that to build their business. I would have to say that the bigger incomes that I saw coming out of that company, the huge incomes, 50,000, 100,000, 100,000 plus per month, are generally being earned by consultants using online marketing approaches, right? So they can go out and tap into that much larger prospect pool and use technology and automation to leverage their business. And I think this is the reason that so many top earning consultants and wealth masters were using systems like My Lead System Pro or Carbon Copy Pro. So, but anyway, very interesting company. They've done very, very well in the marketplace. Have a very unique business model that's quite a bit different than standard MLM. But once again, regardless of what type of a business opportunity you're building, the one message that I always try to convey to people is there's a lot of opportunity in the marketplace today, a lot of good companies out there, huge potential, and there are a lot of people looking for opportunity in today's market. So there's no better time to be involved in our industry. So make your choice, pick your company, but try to avoid beating your friends and family to death and joining the NFL, which means no friends left, right? And do yourself a favor, learn a little bit about marketing, learn about sales funnels, learn how to leverage yourself, learn the law of large numbers. And that is, if you put information in front of enough people, there's no way you can miss. And then you just decide whether or not you want the more heavy residual model with the smaller upfront, standard MLM, or you want to get to the big money quicker. Make your choice, and I'll see you on the next review. Take care.